So once again, good morning, everyone. Okay. So last week when we started working on the Active Directory, so we have learned how can you promote a new domain controller, or how can you create a new forest or a domain from the scratch. I mean, you have the workgroup environment and you wanted to convert that to a domain environment. And what we did, we have installed a server called dc01-fp. In that you went to add roles and features, install the Active Directory domain services role, and you have promoted. So yesterday what we did, by using the same server, we learned what are all the day-to-day related operations will be there with respect to Active Directory. Be it is a user onboarding, be it is a user account disable, password reset, account lockout, unlocking the account, creation of groups, adding members to the groups, moving the user from one OU to another OU, and granting access to the users directly to the computer or via groups. So these many things we learnt. So today I am going to teach you how can you add a new domain controller. When do we add new domain controller? Say for example, you have a new company started in Bangalore location. So when you start the company, you had only few users and few applications, and one domain controller is enough to meet the authentication and performance and all. So later, as your business grows, you have started another organization, maybe within Bangalore or maybe outside the Bangalore also, not a problem. So we'll consider it is Hyderabad, one more office. So when you start a new company at Hyderabad, there also you have a couple of users, around 500 users, employees have started working there. And every time when the user enter the username and password, I told you Active Directory isn't centralized authentication. Means it works on centralized authentication. As soon as user enter the username and password, the authentication will not happen in the local computer there in the Hyderabad location. All the user information and the credential information will be sent to the domain controller, and in the domain controller it will be validated. Okay. So hence, say for example, you have a DC01 in Bangalore, but the users in the Hyderabad, they have pointed to the DC01 in Bangalore. When they enter username and password, that username and password should travel along from Hyderabad to Bangalore via network. So that will be taking some time, maybe around 1.5 minutes, 1.5 seconds of milliseconds, I don't know, close to 2 seconds it will take to travel all the way. Okay, imagine if it is one user and one for one time. But every time, whenever there is an authentication request goes, or whenever you wanted to access some other services and all, right? So that time, what happens? It is very, very, very delay actually. Okay, normally because in IT, it we consider the milliseconds also delays only. Everything should happen like click, click, click. So what you have decided with this issue, your performance is getting impacted. So you have decided to add an additional domain controller to give the services to the Hyderabad location users. Okay, so not to send the username and password to Bangalore location, you have decided to have your own domain controller in Hyderabad location office also, so that the users from the Hyderabad location, when they enter the username and password, the password will be sent to the local domain controller, which is our additional domain controller. Why it is additional? You already have DC01 in Bangalore location. You are going to add one more additionally in the Hyderabad location. Okay, that will be copy of the DC01 only. Okay, that is why we call it as ADC. ADC means another domain controller you are going to add at your estate to balance the load. This is one example. So sometimes what happens, in the same location itself, Bangalore location itself, initially there was about 500 users. As your business grows, your users got increased to around 1500 or 2000 users. Just a number I'm telling you. It can be lakhs also. Okay. So that time, if all the users of 2000 users or authentication goes to the domain controller for a single domain controller, it may not be able to process all at a given time. it will take some time. It will keep you wait for maybe 1 second or 2 seconds, because it is like first in first out. It works on the queue concept. Okay, first whatever first request goes, that will get processed, and then the next one will be taken. So in the Bangalore location also you can have one more additional domain controller, so that if 100 users sends the authentication request, 50 users will go to one DC, another 50 will go to another DC, so that the load balancing will happen here. So that is the purpose of the additional domain controller. So today I am going to show you how can you add an additional domain controller to the existing domain called facebook.com. Okay, and I will show you how both ADC and DC01 are identical. When you create a user in the DC01, that will get replicated to the ADC01. Similarly, if you make any changes or if you create any user in the ADC01, that will get replicated to DC01. Okay, how that happened, I'll show you. Okay, so let us go back to the uh, virtual VMware. Okay, so I have just built a new server. See here, it is my ADC01-FB. Okay, it's a fresh installed machine. Let me reset the set the password. Let me make it ready. Okay, because there are some couple of prerequisites, right, to install the domain controller. So I'm just trying to log into the domain controller now. I mean, not the domain controller, it's a server, newly built server. See, now I have logged into the computer. I have made it full screen, but still it is not coming full screen. What we have to do? We have to install the VMware tool here. To install the VMware tool, let me right click on the server here and click on install VMware tool, and then I can install the tools. Yeah, click on VMware tools, run setup.exe. Now you can see the installation wizard popped up here. Just click on next. Complete installation you have to select. Next, next, and install. So this will install the VMware tools, and as soon as the installation is done, so you will see the full screen, the machine get restarted. After that you need to rename the computer, make the IP static, and while doing the IP static, in the DNS space, you have to give the IP address of the DC01. Otherwise there won't be any communication. Okay, it won't be in synchronization. It won't get promoted as a domain controller if you don't facilitate the right DNS server. So DNS is very crucial. 50% of the time the issues with the Active Directory will be DNS only, and another 20-30% would be some port issues or something. Okay, and then remaining another 10-15% is some other issues. Can be anything. It can be patches, it can be any other configurations. Okay, so let us see once this is done. You can see full screen as the installation is completed. The machine will also get restarted. If I click on finish, machine will get restarted. Let the restart happen. So now it got restarted. Let me log in, send control alt delete. PSS password at that 123. Yeah. Now the IP address of the DC01, it is 130 if I'm not wrong. So let me verify that. What is the IP address of this machine? ipconfig, if I do, it says it is 130, yes, and gateway is 230.2. So what I'll do, I'll just go to ncpa.cpl and I'll just open the network interface card. So IP address is C191 is there. So I'll make it static. So 192.168.230.131, but 192.168.230.2 is the gateway. DNS is 192.168.190.130. That is important. And second one can be this server IP address, because in this server also we are going to install the DNS. 192.168.190. Sorry, it is 230.130. This is 230.131. So 130 is the IP address of the RDC, your DC0, see 192.168.230.130. And if you see host name, see it is DC01 FB. Okay, if you go to ADC01, it is correct only. I'm added properly. So now let me rename the computer. So while renaming the computer, I have to do ADC01. Sorry, no space, no hyphen here. It is ADC01. So fine. You don't need to add it to the
So
domain. Yeah.
while changing name, can we change also domain also in that
Yes, yes. Both
at
can be
once?
done.
At once.
Both can be done.
Okay.
Yesterday for PC we did the same, na? We renamed
Yes.
also, and we have domain joined also.
Okay, sir.
But to add a new domain controller or additional domain controller, you don't need to add the machine to the domain, because when you are promoting itself, it will get added. See now, if you see, I have not added to the domain. I have only changed the name. But now what I will do, I will install the Active Directory domain service role and promote as a domain controller. So while writing the database, it will show you that it is adding to the domain. So now we are good. All the prerequisites are added. Let me log in. Let me log into the server, and now directly I'll go to Active Directory installation. So while going to the server manager, add roles and features, I will install the Active Directory domain service role, and then I'll start promoting the domain controller. Add roles and features. I'll click on add roles and features. Still getting ready. This load symbol, see, it is loading here. So it is done now. See, click on next, role based feature based installation, ADC01, and here Active Directory domain service role have to select, add the feature, click on next, 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 and you can click on installation. Now you see here if you see, notification will come, an exclamatory symbol will open as soon as the installation ends. So now if you see, the installation is completed. It says configuration required, installation succeeded on ADC01. You can close this window, and you see here in the notification bar, the notification is there. So click on this promote this server domain controller option as usual. Either it is a ADC, RDC, or a child domain controller. You can just use this promote this server as a domain controller option. Here you get the multiple options now. So yesterday, if you remember, we have added the last option, correct? Na? Add a new forest, because with us that time we didn't had any domain. We were in the work group environment, and today, if you see, we have a domain called Facebook. Okay, then let us read which option will be suitable here. First one is add a domain controller to an existing domain. What does that mean? That means you are going to add an additional domain controller, one more server, to an existing domain called Facebook. Will it applicable? Guys, will it applicable? First option for us.
Yes, I think
So,
so.
Yes, the first option will be applicable. And let me read the second one. add a new domain to an existing forest. Are we going to add a domain or domain controller now? What are we going to do?
Add a new format, sir.
Add a new
Format.
format. Means
Forest. Sorry, not forest. It's forest.
no. We are not going to add a new forest, right?
Adding
See,
additional domain,
And
sir.
we are going to add additional domain controller.
Yeah.
Controller we are going to add. DC we are going to add, not the domain, not the forest. So the first option is suitable here. Okay. So see, if you already have one company, if you want to start one more company, like Tata, you have already Tata Consultancy, and if you are starting Tata Motors, then you have to select the second option, add a new domain. When you are starting freshly a Tata Group, that is the first last option, add a new forest. See, Tata is a forest. Tata Steels, Tata Motors, Tata, uh, any other business is there. Steels. These are all new domains. But in with us, what we are going to do, we are going to add an additional domain controller to the same existing domain called Facebook. I am going to add a new server. Please imagine. Okay. So let me add the domain. What is the domain we are going to add? It is a facebook.com only. To the facebook.com domain, I am going to add a new domain controller called ADC01, guys. Don't get confused. Okay. So now what you have to do, you have to authenticate to the domain. So you can use administrator, because administrator is the power user, super user. He has got all the powers. So I am going to, yes, now let me click on select. See, it automatically populate facebook.com. So click on next. You must supply a user account name. See here it is Facebook slash administrator. See, now it is correct, Facebook slash administrator. See, it has taken, and it is taken me to the next step. Now the same thing, DSRM, this is a password used to go to the DSRM mode in order to restore anything which is from deleted objects. Okay, password at the rate 123. You can set this password whatever you want. Even if you forget also, you can reset it, not a problem. This password alone, but other passwords are difficult, guys. Click on next. Do you want to delegate the DNS? No, I don't want to delegate the DNS. And it is telling specify the additional replication options. I told you, whatever information is there in the other domain controller, everything will get replicated to this domain controller. Also, this domain controller will work as a replica. So it is asking me from which domain controller you want to get the replication. See, when you have n number of more number of domain controllers, like 10, 15, 20 number of domain controllers, you can select which domain controller you wanted, whether you want to go with DC01 or DC010 or DC20, like that. So normally what happens in the same location, if we have domain controller, we prefer to add the same domain controller. But here we have only one domain controller, so I can select any domain controller. Whatever is close by with respect to the network, it will just pick automatically. Okay, so I'll select any domain controller and click on next. The database path is the same thing, and this is a script. I told you can use it as a PowerShell script also. Now it is verifying the prerequisites. See, all the prerequisites checks pass successfully. Okay, there is no issue, so it is good to promote it as a domain controller now. So now if I click on install, it will start writing here. You see, determining, checking the domain upgrade status, waiting for the DNS installation to finish. You have to read this, the progress. See, waiting for the changing the domain membership for the of this computer. It was work group, right? It is now changing the domain membership to facebook.com. Configuring the schema. configure in the partitions, directory partitions. It won't take much time. Promotion will not take much time. It will be less than a minute. See, it is done and it is asking me to restart. It automatically get restarted. I'm not doing anything. Just wait. Machine is getting restarted. See, now machine got restarted. Let me log into the machine or the server. This is not a server. I mean, this is a server. We should call it as a domain controller now. See, it is now, it is showing me Facebook/administrator. So log into the machine now. Yeah. Now if you see, you have logged in, and if I go to the server manager console, there is no difference at all. If you go to DC01 also, you don't see the difference. Even it is a ADC also, you don't see the difference. Let me log into both. See here, you are there in the DC01. Go to tools, go to Active Directory users and computers. Okay, see facebook.com, under that India, under that Bangalore, under that IT, you have cloud, right? Same two groups, 4 users. Here in the ADC, if you go to tools, users and computers, Active Directory users and computers, facebook.com, under that India, under that Bangalore, under that IT, under that cloud. See, same users. FB Bangalore cloud admins, FE Bangalore Insta application group, Keshav, Pallavi, Pawan, Puneet. Same Keshav, Pallavi, Pawan, Puneet. Okay. Now if you create a user in Windows in the DC01, okay, win, win, okay, I have created this user where in the DC01, and I'll go to Windows here. See, can you see already came win? I'll create one more user here, new user, Linux, Lin. I mean just Lin it is, LIN. Next, set the password. See here you have created Lin, and if I refresh here, the Lin should come here. It will take some time. Okay, it will take some time. Within the same network, it should be 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, it will come. But now here, the time what I created the user, okay, that time the replication happened maybe. While as soon as I created the account, maybe immediately after 1 or 2 seconds, the replication happened. So normally within between the two domain controller within the same network, it will take 15 minutes of time to replicate. So I don't do anything. But later when you check, you will see both the accounts in ADC01 and DC01 both. Okay. So sometimes you may need to forcefully do the replication. What you have to do? You have to go to tools here, Active Directory sites and services here. See, sites and services. Okay, and here you have all the domain controller and the sites. What sites it is, Hyderabad, Bangalore, all the sites will be coming here, and you can force it. Sites, it is intra site within the same subnet servers. See here, ADC01. Right click, replicate configuration from the selected DC. Replicate configuration to the selected DC. Okay, just select this. Okay, now do the same thing for this one. Now you have initiated actually. Okay, so that's fine, it will automatically comes. So replicate now. I've initiated the replicate now. Fine. So now we will see sometimes later you will have both the see it came now. It is my DC01. If you see here the name, server name on the top, see here, it is dc01.facebook.com. Linux is there, Windows is there. Similarly, if I go to ADC, see Linux is there and Windows is there. See here it is ADC01. So this is how the replication happens, and it is identical. Whatever you make changes here, it will go there. Whatever you make changes there, it will come here. Okay. Now, how a computer will understand which domain controller I should talk to? Okay. If you log into the PC, right? If you log in as Puneet, see if you want to see which domain controller Puneet is getting authenticated, there are two domain controllers now. Correct, na? So what ncpa.ncpa.cpl, what I'll do, I'll go here, network interface card. I wanted to change the DNS. Okay, go to IPv4. Here I will add 131 also, 192.168.130.130, I think 191 na. Oh, this is what IP it is. CMD IP config, it is 130 and it is 131. Okay, so here it is 130, 130 and it's 131. Correct, it is correct only. So apply. Okay, so here in the domain controller, if you go the sites and services, here they will create the subnets here. Okay, subnet means it is this address 192.168.230.0/24. Okay, all that /24 will be having connection to this two domain controllers. Okay, so if you go here, go to command prompt and type a command called set space L. Set space L. You see, it is telling I am getting the authentication. See, the logon server is DC01-FB. But out of two domain controller, it may need to go one domain controller. Whatever is responding properly, it will just go there. Next time when he restart the machine, it may go to ADC01 also, and it will go any one domain controller, it will go. So let me shut this down or log off Puneet and power off this one. Okay, or maybe send control or delete, and I can use maybe some other user instead of Puneet. I may go to Keshav M. Okay, and password is password at that 123 1234. Now let us see which domain controller it is getting authentication. Either it can be DC01-FB or ADC01-FB. So let the profile gets created for Keshav. Keshav is now logged in. Let me go to command prompt. And what is the command to check the which domain controller it is getting authentication? Set space L. Set logon. See, it is DC01-FB only. So sometimes if you shut down this DC01, okay, let me shut down this DC01. Power off. So now log off, and I log in with Win. Right click, send controller delete. So now I'm logging in as a Lin. So ideally it should go to ADC01. We'll see. So now we have logged into the machine with the Lin, right? Let me go to command prompt and type a command called set spatial. See, can you see now? Now it is ADC01, not the DC01-FB, it is ADC01. So whatever the things I told, it is correct only, because I have shut down the DC01. Now obviously there is only one domain controller is available, which is ADC01. That is the reason this authentication request went to ADC01. Okay, so this is what the benefit. So when Hyderabad users are going to Hyderabad location domain controller, sometimes if the Hyderabad location domain controller has got some problem, it will come to Bangalore location and get the authentication. If it is already available in Hyderabad, it will get it done then and there itself. Same goes for Bangalore also. If Bangalore domain controller gets some issues, it will go and talk to the Hyderabad domain controller and get the authentication, because both are having the same database. It's a centralized database. Okay. So, and I told you, right, there is a folder called sysvol. If you simply put facebook.com in the domain controller, you will see these two folders. One is netlogon, another one is sysvol. This netlogon is network logon. It's a common folder between the domain controller, and the sysvol is a system shared volume. Okay, and in this you will have all this facebook.com related, see, policies and scripts. If anything that is required to be transferred to another domain controller, it will just put it in the scripts, and it will put it in the policy GPT group policy templates and all will be there. No, so this GPT templates will be there, and all the information will be stored here to share it to the another domain controller. Say for example, you have created a group policy, and that policy information has to get replicated to another domain controller. So it will just keep it here. Okay, and it will be transferred to another domain controller also. See, GPT group policy templates, users and machine settings. See, okay. So this is what about I wanted to show you today. Okay, so tomorrow what we will do, not tomorrow, next class I'll update you when is the next class. Maybe it is Tuesday. That time I will show you little bit on the Active Directory FSMO roles. Okay, how can you move FSMO roles from one domain controller to another domain controller? How can you check the FSMO role? See here, how can you check the FSMO role? Let me show you. There is a command called net dom query FSMO. If you run this command, net dom sorry, space should be there. Oh, it is PC. Sorry, it should be in DC, na? So net dom query. See, it is now listing the FSMO roles holder, but now all the FSMO roles are there in the DC01, not in the ADC01, because ADC01 is just a build now, and that is the reason it is taking time. See, it is telling schema master, domain naming master, PDC, RID, infrastructure master, all the 5 roles are there in the DC01-FB, but the DC01 is shut down now. But there is no issue. I'm able to no. I am able to make the operations. Okay, so tomorrow, if possible, we will try to replicate. What is that? We'll try to create some kind of use cases. Okay, we'll shut down the PDC and try to reset the password. Whether it will happen or not, all those things can be checked tomorrow. Okay. So I think with that I can just stop the recording and then I can take some questions if you have any. Okay. Thank you all.